It was 1942, a time when anti-Semitism was on the rise. Jews were being taken away to concentration camps. One such Jew was Viktor Frankl, a Jew and psychiatrist. In the concentration camp, he lost his father, mother, and wife. All of his immediate family was gone except his sister. On top of that, he even lost the manuscripts he was working so hard on. It was his life's most important work ruined. The conditions he had to work in were more than horrible. He wore ragged clothing in extremely cold weather and he was starving. On top of that, he had to laboriously lay tracks in these conditions. After a day's work, he couldn't even come home to relax. He, in fact, had to come back to an extremely crowded and often disgusting concentration camp. In spite of barely staying alive, he had to keep on marching and working, else he would be sent into the gas chambers and killed. An officer could just pick him out to be killed. To add to the suffering, there was strong psychological pain. Like not knowing how much longer he had to suffer just made the suffering worse. That too, all of this was unfair torture that was done on him on no wrong of his own. He even talked of a situation where he was talking to a comrade just to find the comrade's body lying dead an hour later. Viktor Frankl suffered in these conditions for nearly 4 long years. How does one say yes to life in such situations? It seems better just to give up. The answer, Frankel said, was meaning. It didn't matter how strong a prisoner was, they needed meaning to survive these brutal conditions. The meaning that kept Frankel going in such situations was him imagining himself teaching his students the lessons he learned in this camp, or the hope that once he's out he can rewrite his manuscript because no one else could do that job. It was something unique to him.
Lesson one could learn in Auschwitz. Those who were oriented toward a meaning to be fulfilled by them in the future were most likely to survive. And this has been confirmed afterwards by American Navy and Army psychiatrists in Japanese prisoner of war camps. The orientation toward a future, toward a task, a personal task, waiting for them to be fulfilled in their future, or another person whom they were loving, to be met again, to be reunited with them again in the future. This was what was decisively upholding these people. You see, the question was not just survival, but there had to be a why of survival, a person or a cause for whose sake to survive. There was survival scarcely possible.
This is why, after making it through the concentration camps, he noted that all the people who had survived had some meaning, often quoting the famous Nietzsche quote, "He who has a why to live for can bear almost any how." Think about it, you're willing to go through the pain if you know what the pain is for. What is the reason to the pain? And this is why he wrote his experiences of the concentration camp in a book titled Man's Search for Meaning. Viktor Frankl is also the one who coined logotherapy, which focuses on dealing with hardships and suffering through finding one's purpose. In fact, out of all the factors which influence happiness, meaning is the most important. Engaging in meaning is what brings enduring happiness or fulfillment. Frankl even said that you can't pursue happiness, it must be ensued. Just like you can't force someone to laugh genuinely or find something funny. The purpose of this video is not to tell you what the meaning of life is. I don't know that. I'm just talking about the importance of meaning and purpose in your life and everything you do. Now, if this concept of meaning sounds fuzzy, let's try illustrating it through some example. For example, it's the teachers whose purpose is to make sure that the next generation is shaped rightly and guided, are those teachers who not only enjoy their jobs the most but impact the students the most. Those students who know why they are studying are the ones who keep pushing and enjoy studying. Those whose why is to help people are not distracted with outward glory and ego for helping people, nor are they limited with options through which they can help people. They can achieve this by helping just people in school or just their friends or even through their professional lives, like through being a doctor, writer, firefighter, entrepreneur, etc., etc. Just some example. Frankel even talks about how love can be strongly meaningful. He also talks about how to find meaning, you need to take responsibility of your situation and see what life asks of you. See what meaning is there and find some meaning. Now let's go to the productivity side of things. The book's one thing and start with why, talk about the importance of meaning and productivity, leadership, and starting companies. They talk about how companies which are more effective and have an impacting change have a greater purpose than just making money. They also say the most inspiring leaders are those who are driven with a purpose and a reason to why they do what they do, which makes people follow them. They talk about how with purpose, clarity comes faster, and when things don't go your way, you're more resilient with meaning. Like, they also talk about how if you keep chasing money, it will not satisfy you in the long run. Chasing money it's a bottomless pit, an empty goal, and only if you're working for something meaningful does your work feel fulfilling. To be honest, lately I've found myself really busy. Like I've been sleeping lesser and going to hang out with friends lesser, and I've just been working more. But I don't really I feel satisfied after doing my work. I'm not really accomplishing much, even though I'm always busy because I'm just being busy. The work I'm doing is not meaningful, and I find this chart pretty true. If the work you're doing is not meaningful, then you're not productive. Productivity only comes from doing and completing meaningful work. Like you don't want to climb a ladder all the way just to know the ladder is lying on the wrong wall. And yeah, so for lasting happiness, clarity, productivity, and getting through suffering, meaning is important for all of that. Also, huge credit to the books. One thing, Start With Why, Man's Search for Meaning, the talks by Jordan Peterson. And I tried a new style of video this time. I talked on a different topic. Overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye.